Hello, I'm Dr. Charles Edwards, and what they call me now around here is the founding physician. What my role here is to welcome you to Memory and Movement Charlotte. The purpose of this video is to give you, the patients, families, and caregivers, information about what we do, what to expect when you come here, which really helps us help you. We're going to go on a journey here, kind of a crash course into Memory and Movement Charlotte, so get ready. First, a little background on me. I wasn't always a dementia specialist, and for 30 years I actually did cardiac surgery. It's nice when someone comes in and said I operated on them 30 or 40 years ago. It makes me feel really good. I always thought that I would be a surgeon until the day I died, but I developed a tremor in my left hand. I was always pretty good with my eyes and my hands, and I never really wanted to be that old guy in the operating room shaking. Didn't really care about doing surgery anymore, but what I did care about was still being able to listen to the patients, listen to them, and help figure out what was wrong and help them get better. So I call this the shake, rattle, and roll. And the rattle was in me, in that I didn't know really what to do. It brought me back to another time in my life when I was confused, and that was when I was trying to take care of my parents. They both had Alzheimer's disease, and even as connected as I was to the medical community, we weren't able to find someone that understood the disease, the behavioral issues my parents had. And so I went to my wife, Mary, and I said, I've got this idea that I'm going to start a clinic taking care of people losing their memories. And she said, that's a bad idea. You don't have expertise in this. And until you do, they have families that can hug them, but they need someone that really understands the disease. That night, I wrote a letter to 3 institutions, and the line was that when a 65-year-old heart surgeon applies for a dementia fellowship, it prompts the question, shouldn't he be in the clinic rather than starting it? All 3 places accepted me, and I was especially grateful that Johns Hopkins allowed me to come and spend 4 months with them, giving me a baseline of how to take care of the patients and give me an idea about what I was going to get into. I thought that would prepare me, but it really didn't. We concentrated on the patients and the different stages that the patients were in. What really threw me for a loop was the fact I had no idea how close I would become to my families. I became close to the patients, but as the patient declines, we can't help them unless we have connections with the families. And so I became and still am, very close to our families. And that's how the Memory Center works. We realize that there are stages to caregiving, just like there is stages for the patient's decline. And we know where you are in those stages, and we know what the demands are there, and oftentimes what you need to get through that stage. We call it the time and attention model. It means that we had to be nonprofit because I needed more time. Every patient and family that comes in to start gets a 2-hour evaluation, and then each time you come, you get an hour. This gives us time to listen to both the family and the patient, and then bring them together and come up with a way to make all this work. I used to read a lot about caregivers and how you're supposed to handle them, and none of that seemed to resonate with us. We've learned how to take care of families and patients from the families and the patients. They're the ones that teach us. Where the movement part comes in is we call ourselves Memory and Movement Charlotte. Originally, it was just Memory Center Charlotte. But about 2 years into our practice, I began to see a lot of patients with Parkinson's disease. And I would send them to my friend downtown, who was the head of neuroscience at now Atrium, Dr. Iyer, and we would work together on these patients. I would take care of the non-movement, and of course, he's one of the world's experts on movement. We had probably 20 or 30 patients together, and one day he called Dr. Chaconis and I and said, guys, I'd like to come and work with you. I like your approach, I like what you're doing, and I think this is a natural. 50% of patients with Parkinson's disease have some form of dementia. And so the movement has become an equal part of the mission. I want you to know that you're the reason why we exist. We can help you get through this. We're not in the memory business, really. What we're in is the dignity business. So I want to welcome you, and we'll look forward to working with you. Thank you.